Celebrities getting involved with WWE is nothing new, and they often lead to some pretty bad and infamous moments.
We will ban you from the Summerfest.
In 2015, Stephen Amell, the star of the DC TV series Arrow, got his chance to step inside the ropes. However, I think Amell's involvement with WWE was a lot better than most celebrity storylines and matches we've seen. With it now being 5 years since the Green Arrow appeared in WWE, let's take a look back at Stephen Amell's run and see how it holds up. On an episode of Raw from Uniondale, New York, Stephen Amell enjoyed the show from the front row, until Stardust showed up. Before a scheduled match against Neville, the interdimensional oddity got in the Green Arrow's face, but Amell showed no fear. The man that gravity forgot then made his entrance and defeated Stardust after executing the Red Arrow. The interaction between Stephen Amell and Stardust was brief, but it planted the seeds for what was about to happen. Having Neville wrestle Stardust helped make this first interaction even better, since he'd eventually become part of this rivalry too. A little over a week after their encounter, Stardust would cut a promo on Main Event.
This universe, it has too many so-called heroes. This universe needs more. Dust.
During Stardust's match later in the show, the Crossroads finisher was now being called the Queen's Crossbow, a reference to the Green Arrow's alter ego, Oliver Queen. Shortly after this, Dusty Rhodes would sadly pass away. Stardust would take a temporary break from wrestling, and it was unsure if his rivalry with Stephen Amell would continue. After being absent for about a month, the face-painted Freak returned and avenged his loss by beating Neville. The two wrestlers would meet again later that same week on SmackDown, but this time, it was Neville who came out on top. For the next couple of weeks, Stardust would continue to target Neville, and the two would even get physical from time to time. WWE also began presenting the rivalry as a classic superhero vs supervillain comic book story. Additionally, Stardust started obsessing over Stephen Amell, and believed that the man wasn't an actor, but actually the real Green Arrow.
There isn't a government on Earth that acknowledges that man as Stephen Amell, because that is not his name.
This got Amell's attention, and he decided it was time to return to WWE. Amell was in attendance for another episode of Raw, with his focus on Stardust. The Prince of Dark Matter eventually appeared when he attacked Neville after the High Flyer had just defeated King Barrett. Once he was done with his first target, Stardust turned his attention to Stephen Amell. The interdimensional oddity got physical with Amell, to which the Green Arrow responded by jumping in the ring and attacking Stardust. The two were quickly broken up, and Stephen Amell and Neville went backstage. The two men approached Triple H and convinced him to make a tag team match at SummerSlam. After that, it was official. Stephen Amell would partner with Neville in his first wrestling match against King Barrett and Stardust. After Stardust and Barrett made their entrances, Neville's music hit. He made his way towards the two villains, but stopped before entering the ring. Then came out Stephen Amell, of course, wearing an attire inspired by the Green Arrow. Once the bell was run, Neville and King Barrett kicked things off. After battling for a short while, Stardust tagged in and demanded he face Amell. The Emerald Archer was happy to get in on the action, and the two once again stared each other down. The Prince of Dark Matter got the first shot in, but Stephen Amell made a hard comeback and whipped Stardust all over the ring. Since Stardust wasn't doing too well, Barrett tagged in and decided to take a stab at the Arrow. Amell put up a good fight, but the Cosmic King's strength was able to overpower him. The match was now firmly in the control of Stardust and Barrett, and they kept it that way by isolating Stephen Amell from Neville. The fight was literally leaving its mark on the Green Arrow, and he needed to make a tag. A spark of hope came when Amell hit Stardust with an enziguri, causing the villain to fall down. This bought Amell just enough time to reach Neville and tag him in. Like the Flash, the man that gravity forgot started zooming around the ring, landing move after move on King Barrett. Eventually, both members of the Cosmic Duo were sent to the outside, and Stephen Amell saw an opportunity. The superhero got on the top ring post and went flying to the outside, taking out both of his opponents. Amell even got some of Stardust's face paint on his shoulder. That was definitely not a bruise. Why would someone say that? After that, Neville hit Stardust with the Red Arrow, and in true comic book fashion, good triumphed over evil. Rewatching this angle, I think it told a good, simple story. The way WWE positioned the Stardust character beforehand made it easy for me to believe that this guy would think Stephen Amell actually was the Green Arrow. On the other side, Stardust's threats and eventually laying his hands on Amell created enough of a reason why Stephen would want to wrestle Stardust. I wouldn't have minded having the storyline a bit more complex, but then again, it is a rivalry as a celebrity, so keeping the feud pretty basic was probably the right decision. Even though one of the competitors was an actor, the match itself wasn't that bad. I think Stephen Amell wrestled just enough they looked good, but didn't stay in the ring too long that it was obvious he wasn't a wrestler. The finish with Amell doing the crossbody, followed by the Red Arrow, was really well done, and felt like a satisfying ending. Is this the greatest wrestling match ever? No. That's Edge vs. Randy Orton, of course. But for what it was, I thought it was fun. I think the reason I'm such a supporter of Stephen Amell's run in WWE is because I'm such a fan of the Arrow and the Arrowverse it's a part of. I really enjoyed seeing that crossover with WWE, but what about you? Did you like or hate watching Stephen Amell in WWE? Share your thoughts in the comments, and then check out the video on the right. With that, I'm Zach from Tap Out Corner, and take it easy.